Good morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scouser's morning coffee or tea with American Scouser. It's Friday. Coffee's here in the shape of Kermit. He's green and loving it. With us today, it's Friday, so Cozzy is with us. Cozzy, what's happening, man? What we got going?
I'm good, man. How are you? I'm all good. I haven't got a drink right now for
What?
some reason. I
Not
know.
even on water, energy drink, nothing.
I usually have a coffee and all, or a water, and I think I've left it outside, to be honest. Yeah. We're winging it. We're going dry now today.
And with us, because Alex couldn't make it, his 14-year-old brother is with us. Where is Alex, man? He couldn't make it this morning, or is he in the trunk?
I'm scared. It's weird. It's weird not having it.
Is it cold?
Oh yeah. Well, it's like raining.
I'm totally off here, but
right now. So
yeah, your like Wi-Fi is going in and out over here, kind of like breaking up occasionally on my end. But yeah, it's weird because like before I started working from home and stuff, I used to shave like every freaking day. So now like being able to do this and do it like every once in a blue moon feels good. Yours is a lot more kept in shape there, Cozzy, right? Takes a lot more work to be Cozzy.
I do. I mean, you can't just wake up and look like this fella. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of prep.
I hear you. You can't like this. So I recommend it. This doesn't take a whole lot of work. This is all natural.
Oh God, it's gonna be one of them days.
Okay, let's get to a couple of the stuff. I figured like we start with some of the stuff with the press conferences. We were kind of like talking about it from going on air. Obviously, we've been talking about top 4 chances. Like, see, this has been a week now. You were at 64 last week with some in-depth calculations. I have gone up from 25 to 30. I'm still there. Holy cow, dude. See, we have fans all over the place. From Zambia, it's 4 o'clock over there. What are we talking? Oh, that's not that bad. That's only like 7 hours. Well, welcome to the show. And we have everybody here. Sparky, Nelly's with us this morning. Good morning. And Sir Z, Ryan, the whole gang is here. So what is your percentage now? Get out the calculator, do some math. Where do we go from 64%?
I am at 78%.
No way. 78?
I've went up since Ben Rama turned into Mo Salah for a day. Scored against United.
For those of you who are not in the Discord channel, you definitely should be. Earlier this week, Alex's brother over here made the claim that I need to say, dare I say, or something like that. There was like kind of like a initial thing to it that Ben Rama reminds him of Mo Salah. Explain yourself, Alex.
In front of the court, I plead the fifth. So
yeah.
Good call.
It was your evil younger brother. Yeah.
That was maybe he was so distraught that he had to shave. So on his way out, he went out with like Ben Rama is like Mo Salah kind of a deal going. So top 4 chances, Champions League. Obviously, I mean, and I do agree that part of the reason that I really want Champions League is because of what we can bring over the summer. Because I feel, despite what Klopp says here, I feel like there's a huge impact and a big part of it in terms of attracting players. And I do understand. So let me ask you guys this. How much of an impact do you think it has, Cozzy, being in the Champions League? Because in the past, to be fair, we talked a lot of shit about United having to overpay, blah, 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 because they were not in the Champions League. So now 22% chance, apparently, that we might be on that boat. So how much do you think of an impact it has?
I think it's difficult, this, because I don't think it has much of an impact in terms of, I think Liverpool hopefully are a bit more down the line with this. They kind of could have seen this happening in January, that we might not get the Champions League. Liverpool were finished without, let's get it right, Liverpool were 16 points behind, I think, or something in February. Liverpool
there was a 78% chance, I can tell you that. Yeah.
You're saying 30%, and that's what United have got left in the tank, about 30%. They look knackered.
The light is about to come on, yeah.
You know what I mean? But so in terms of attracting players, I get that. But I also think Liverpool have a more of an attractive prospect than United. You're playing for Jurgen Klopp and not PE teacher of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the time. So I do think we are a more of a attractive prospect. I do think Liverpool have also shown that we can bounce back after bad seasons. Liverpool needed an Alisson header to qualify for the Champions League that season, then go to the final that year. So Liverpool have something in place where you can go, yeah, we had a bad season, but we always show that we can bounce back, and we can also show that we can challenge a year later. It doesn't affect Liverpool for 5 years. I think most of the fans would agree that Liverpool, if we finish in the Champions League this year or not, will be in the Champions League next year. I think we all back us to be in the top 4 next year. Even or in the Europa League. So either way, we're going to be in the Champions League. So I think that's what your selling point is. Your selling point is you just do us one season. We can put a buyout clause or something like that for Champions League clubs in contracts if it is major players. But I don't think they're the type of signs that Liverpool are trying to sign right now anyway. I think Liverpool are trying to sign these young, hungry kind of players who want that next step. We talk about Alexis McAllister. He's had success on the international stage, but hasn't won really a domestic trophy. So those type of players, if you look at Gravenberch, yes, he's playing in the Champions League with Bayern, but he doesn't play football for them. Come to Liverpool, superstar, young team, let's go again kind of thing. So I don't think we're attracting players who are really going to go, I need Champions League football.
That's fair. Cozzy says, I'm still at 99%. I want to have whatever you guys are spiking your coffee with. I want some of that shit in mine over here because mine doesn't have it.
Going up, because we are on the Champions League chat, right? Why aren't you backing us? When you see United playing, hear me out, you see United and how they're playing and how tired they look from minute 70. Why don't you believe that this team can do it? They've won 6 on the bounce.
See, here's the thing, though. When you say 6 on the bounce, and I think we were talking about this on the Monday podcast, like you look at their run, and when you look at the standings, I mean, you can see, and City and us are on like a old school run, like how we used to be, right? Mm-hmm. I just don't think, and I think Sparky is getting there. He's at 38%. I can do that. He's like, it's not United, and he says, yeah, I'm on the same page with Sparky over it. It sucks. I'm still not confident we're winning the last 3 games, and that's mainly because, let's face it, we've kind of like, a win is a win, and it's important to get to the win and get the 3 points, but it has not been, I don't want to say decisive, convincing maybe is a good word. I mean, I can see any of those games going a totally different route and very easily. Not like, oh, we dominated, but they could have scored on a counter. Obviously, duh. But if you look at the game overall, it's almost like, man, this game could have gone anywhere. If Ali doesn't make that huge save, we're not even talking about this. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, yes. Then if that doesn't happen, you can always make that scenario. But overall, like at the end of a lot of these wins, what is it, 6 on the bounce? You said.
Yeah.
How many of those games afterwards have you said that was well deserved?
Or
how much of them were like you were waiting for the final? Was you were like, fuck, finally?
But they are grinding. And it's a
good. I mean, no, I'll give them that. That's important to be able to grind it. I mean, we did a lot of it when we won the title, for God's sakes. But every single game has been a grind. It hasn't been one. I can't remember. I mean, first of all, I think we won every single one by 1 goal. Yeah. So I can't remember like a game where you were like the last 10, 15 minutes, you were like, okay, another 3 points, we're good. It always has been like, blow the fucking whistle, it's over kind of a thing. I mean, and that's where I'm at. I think that's why my percentage is low.
I do feel like, though, I'm sorry, I should bring you in a second, but I do feel like this team, it's better to grind results than win 3-0. In terms of, it's better to have that mentality that you can do that and you can grind. Because when it all goes well, it's easy to beat teams 3-4-0. But as soon as there's a bit of adversity in games, Liverpool used to fold. You literally, we all know this, Liverpool go 1-0 down, you lose the game, especially this season. And I feel like with our fixtures, though, Tim, we're playing 2 out the bottom 3. Leicester and Southampton will be gone on the last day. They're well gone.
Yeah, Southampton will be.
Yeah, Leicester in the bottom 3. Let's get it right. And Everton just went there and played really well. And it was 2-2 the game. And Leicester went to Fulham and conceded 5. And then you're playing Villa, who've just lost the last 2 at home. And Liverpool have lost 1 all season. I just expect Liverpool to win out. I think they'd be super disappointed if they didn't. Alex, would you agree with me there?
Yeah. I think the last 3 teams that we have, if you told me before the run, I don't know, I would have been with you, Tim. I would have been like, they're not going to get 9 points out of those games, but I can see us definitely getting 9 points from those games. I feel it. I feel like we can get something from it, and I know you were talking about grinding results and everything, but that that's basics. Like, and I think that's what he's been hammering is going back to basics, doing, doing the small things, making the tackles, doing the small, intricate passes, just doing the basics, grinding out results, build that confidence so we can go into the next season knowing we can really push for something big next year. And I think that's what it comes down to. But I mean, two of our last three teams that they're just not good. I mean, you remember how we won against Leicester, 2 own goals. So, and Leicester just look really bad right now. Southampton, I've been telling you guys for weeks, I think Southampton's done. I think they were fine with going down to the championship. So I think grinding results and waiting for that whistle can be scary, but going back to basics, doing all the fundamentals, I think that's what we need to go back to get that confidence back up.
See, here's my other thing with that. Let me be Mr. Negative over here. Somebody's gonna do it. And thank God Sparky is with me over here because we're on the same shape. This team, I can never look at the schedule and say, oh, that's an easy 3 points. That's an easy 3 points because we've lost more points to the bottom 3 this season, and that's we did the same mistake going into the World Cup break. And I keep talking about this. I think it was Leeds and Forest, right? We lost to both, and they look like you get that 3 point, you get 6 points going into the break, and then Diaz comes back, Jota comes back. It's going to be a whole new team after the World Cup and stuff. That was our hope at the time, and we clunked both those. And honestly, if we didn't clunk those, fucking squeeze the draw out of them, we'd be in a lot better shape right now. So that's why I can never, while I understand and I agree with every point that's made in terms of the schedule, I just don't have the confidence to be able to be like, Southampton, that should be an easy one. That should be another 3 point. You get 3 points. You get 3 points. I just can't go there. It's kind of like tricky. So let's go back to that Champions League thing with you, Alex. I agree with Cozzy where the only thing going for us, if we don't go to the Champions League, is the fact that we're not Spurs, which is like a nice thing to be able to say, but you can kind of say, if you're transferring into Tottenham, you might be like, are these guys ever gonna make it to the Champions League again and do stuff? Whereas it feels like if you come to Liverpool, you're one of those 1 or 2 pieces away from going back to where they were kind of a deal. Or are we just too biased as Liverpool fans?
Well, I want to give one example, and it's an example that happened this year of why that statement by Klopp is so true. And you have to look at Cody Gakpo, because remember when Cody signed for us in January, we were really bad. We were in some of our worst form, and he knew coming in that there was a chance that he wasn't going to play Champions League football for Liverpool next season, but he came anyways. So, and that was after he had an excellent World Cup. He's coming into a team that's not in form and low on confidence, and he's trying to play a new position. I agree with Cozzy. I don't think the Champions League argument has too much of a say because I think we can still pull people to it. And Cody Gakpo is a great example. He could have gone to United, but he chose to come. He chose to come to Liverpool. So I think it all depends. It all depends on Klopp and what he can pull. And I feel like he can pull some pretty big names, even if we do miss out. Because I do agree with you. I'm more around like 50% we make it or not. It really depends on what United and Newcastle do. But I mean, I think if we do make it at this point, it's like a bonus almost. For us.
That's fair. That's fair. I think that was a great point actually, because at that time it was a no-brainer that United was going to the Champions League.
Right.
And it would have been a miracle for us to go to the Champions League. So that's a good point in terms of a player that chose it regardless. But at the same time, is that because it's United, Cozzy? Because they they chew and spit out young talents? I mean, is he looking at Sancho and be like, no, I'm going to Liverpool?
It's a fair point. Like the one thing I'd say about Cody, at least, which is very interesting, he knew the manager. I know he never played under him, but of course he's in the Dutch league. He knows how successful he was. So there was a project in there that he could have sold to him, but I also think there's a Virgil aspect as well. I'm going, listen, fella, don't worry about this season. We're getting rid of these lads. These lads are crap. Kaiser, Oxlade, these are all garbage. We're getting rid of these, and we're going to go again, kind of thing. But again, I don't think in terms of the players, if Liverpool are sitting down with players who are demanding Champions League football, I don't think Liverpool are sitting down with any of those players. I don't think any of those players Liverpool will be interested in to sit there and go, I want Champions League football. And you're like, because look at the players that we're linked with. Mason Mount's not playing for Chelsea. Chelsea are fucking 11th in the league or something. Then nothing. So if you look at the players that Liverpool are actually linked with, I don't think we're linked with players really that we're getting from Champions League clubs or starters from Champions League clubs. Maybe I don't think we are, at least, especially in terms of the links.
Especially for rumors. And I think one thing there is, I feel this is an advantage we have. We're looking for midfielders, and then the midfielder we're interested in knows that our midfield is kind of shit, and they have a good chance of playing in it right away. I think if we went at a winger that has a chance to go to another team, they might be like, wait a second, where am I going to play? You got Mo on one side, you got Diaz, Jota, you know what I mean? But especially the midfielders that we're going to go after, I feel like, Alex, that they would be like, yeah, I have a really good shot at like going over there and starting right away and getting playing time, which is like I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing we're saying this, but Alex, I think for a midfielder we're approaching, it's a good thing because they can see their slots from as they're signing the paperwork. They'll be like, and that's where I'm going to start. It's kind of a deal.
Yeah, and I think that's what I think it's going back to when how we did transfers back in the day, but we kind of switched it up a little bit. Like we used to pluck guys from relegation teams, like guys that would have no chance of making Champions League or be on a Premier League winning squad. But now we're kind of doing a little bit something different. We're going to other squads around England, Germany, or whatever, young guys that aren't getting into the like Bayern or Chelsea, and we're like, hey, you have an opportunity to come here and be a superstar in our midfield. Like if you play really well, you would look amazing, and I think that's what it comes down to. And I think that alone will pull people because they'll know that they have a chance to really prove themselves. And it's funny because like we talk about Mason Mount and we know what Mason Mount can do. And I think that's where Mason Mount is right now. He needs that change. He needs a new fresh start somewhere else.
Yeah, that's fair. I think having said that, I mean, every team, I mean, we talked about Southampton before, a lot of those 3 name guys, we would take one of them to be in the squad and stuff. Regardless of how good we are, if you get the right character, Cozzy, it feels like you can still take somebody. I know, like, everybody's going to go back to the Robertson example, but I always feel like that was a different Liverpool that needed a lot of pieces. And let's face it, did we replace Moreno, right, on the left back?
Yeah, eventually, didn't he?
Which, on a good day, you and I could probably replace. So that the bar was low there, whereas now when you're bringing somebody in, I think you're bringing into a squad that, let's face it, a lot higher level than what it was before. But at the same time, you take a guy that looks above average in a below average team, and they can come over and be a top-notch player.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying with the bar being higher, but our midfield isn't that high right now.
Oh, no, that bar is as low as can be.
I mean, I look at Mount. All we need out of Mason Mount is to come in and be Mason Mount. I don't need you to be any more than what you are. I don't need you to get to another level. Get to the level you played under for Frank when you got 12 goals and like 12 assists and you would man mark plays out of a game. Just be that Mason Mount. That's fine. That is what Liverpool need. And now you look at Wijnaldum, by the way, relegated club, Robertson, Shaqiri, all relegated clubs at the time.
Yep.
I look at like that Leicester team. Let's get it right. If they go down, there's going to be Liverpool should be all over. I'm a big fan of Dewsbury Hall. I think Dewsbury Hall would fit into Liverpool, like hand in glove. Okay. Plays great on both feet. Young English guy. Liverpool do have a problem with the coefficiency right now with foreign players, and especially if Liverpool, which I'm sure we'll get onto, with Kelleher going out. That's a coefficiency player leaving. So with also Milner leaving, Oxlade-Chamberlain leaving. Yeah. Liverpool needs, whether people like it or not, Liverpool needs to sign young British players because we just have to. So that's why Mount makes sense. Dewsbury Hall would make sense. And these type of lads. So I'm super excited, mate, and I'm super excited to see if these relegated clubs going down. I'm a big Ward-Prowse fan. I'm a big Ainsley Maitland-Niles fan. I know he's on loan from Arsenal. That's Southampton right now. I'm a Walker Peters fan as backups to Trent. At least we all agree that we probably need another one. So
Sparky has Rice.
but
We talked about this the other day. What is your budget for Rice? I never asked you guys this. Give me a budget for Rice, Cozzy. How much you spending?
I wouldn't pay no more than $2.50. Baz Matty's my favorite.
Is that with VAT or is that?
Nah, I'm always a Baz Matty guy. But I mean, in terms of the player, listen, it's very much right. I think talk about budgets and players because you all know my view on Bellingham. If you're signing a player to be the top 3 best centre midfielders in the world, 150 million is not a lot of money. If you plays for 12 years and he's in the Boston, it's not a lot of money. Like Virgil seemed like a lot of money, but now it seems like a steal. So it's the same with Rice. It's just, like we signed Alisson for 70 million, everyone's head fell off, and now it looks like the greatest bit of business in the world. So for me, Rice, 70 million.
Really?
Well,
dude, I did not think you'd be that generous. Alex, give me a number you'll be able to be like, if we sign them for that price, you're like, that's pretty good. I don't think you're gonna be like, oh, that's a steal for 20 anyway, even if you're in like your wildest dreams. But an amount, Alex, that you would say that's fair, that's a good deal overall.
I would say, I would probably say around 60, 70 as well. The thing is like like I argued in the chat, West Ham is at the point where they have to sell their assets. And I feel like, I know they want to price them at 100, but I don't think anybody's going to come in for that, especially since last year, that's the same price that they put them at. Nobody came in to get them. So I feel like they're at the point where they have to sell him for a decent price, or they're going to risk losing him for free. And he can totally do that because if I remember correctly, he only has 1 year left on his current contract. So they're at the place where they have to make some money off this, or else he's going to go for free. And I feel like they will sell him to somebody this summer.
Yeah.
But it's going to be.
But then will somebody like United come in and overpay for him, as they tend to do? That's probably my.
I mean that's the thing. I think somebody like United will come in and be like, all right, you want 100 million? Here you go, 100 million right there. But I feel like they will still pull the trigger. I mean, if there's a good, decent bid for 60 to 70 with some add-ons, they'll pull the trigger on that, no doubt. They can use that money to totally revamp their squad, which is what they desperately need at West Ham.
Yeah, see, I agree with Sparky that they don't necessarily need to sell, maybe, but go back to what Alex says, they don't want him going for nothing and leaving the club for nothing. And I don't see Rice signing an extension and, hooking himself up to that train, especially after how the season went. Alan says 60. There's a lot of math being done this morning. 63, says Alan. So if somebody says, I'll be damned if I'm going to pay 64. But yeah, I don't know about the 3, but yeah, 60 sounds about right to me, I think. Yeah. But okay, if you say 70 though, Cozzy. Yeah. Is it fair to say, dude, if it's 70, pay another 30 and get Bellingham? Or do you say, hey, for another 30, you can get, like, Ryan says, Kyle Walker-Peters, who can play at both sides, or you can say you get Rice and another piece like that's more valuable than, let's say, just getting Bellingham.
Oh, this is where it's frustrating when I look at Oxlade-Chamberlain, because I've never seen more of a West Ham signing in my life than Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
We always try to shove him to Crystal Palace with Galley, but didn't work.
He's going to go back to London, where he wants to be, play 15 games for them, look fantastic for 8. Alex is going to compare them to fucking Zidane or someone, and then we can all go from there. But that's why, but you do, for example, I look at the 70 million for Rice, and I think the Bellingham situation is very interesting because I think Real Madrid are playing all the money up front, and I think that's why they're getting him for 100 million. I think Liverpool could probably pay 100, 120, but they're going to go, we can give you 30 up front and pay it off over 5 years. But where I think Dortmund are going to go, we'll rather accept 100 now up front. If you've got 100 million, Liverpool, and I think that is why what's pricing us out for the Bellingham more than anything. We haven't got 100 million up front, And I think with the argument with Rice is you can do a deal. I think with West Ham, we can go 70 and pay it off over 5. Most, by the way, for the fans who don't know, most transfers are like that. You pay them off over 5 years. You don't pay the money up front. It's extremely rare that you do that. So, but I kind of look at the situation of sellable assets for Liverpool. You look at a Costas, you look at a Kelleher, and you think to yourself, if Liverpool are going to move to a 3 at the back full time, Costas is needed. Costa, you got Robertson as your backup left back if you wanted to move into certain positions and shapes. So, and again,
how much are you getting for Costas though? Realistically,
you get your money back. You get 10 million quid.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, that's fine. Yeah,
you get 10 million quid. Kelleher, you get 20 to 25 million, in my opinion, especially for the goalkeeper who plays out from the back. They're so rare. I look at West Ham and look at their 2 goalkeepers who look finished. Areola made a mistake last night. Fabianski looks absolutely finished. And you think to yourself, well, there could be a deal there with the Kelleher to West Ham for a cheap price if you give us Rice. And you'll forget also that we do these kind of deals. We've done it with Kevin Stewart going to Hull, and we got Robertson. Yeah. So we do these kind of things where it's like, hey, for example, I think it's happening with Milner. We'll do Milner to Brighton if you give us McAllister on the kind of, I like a little handshake deal kind of thing. Because
isn't Milner a free agent?
He's going on a free, but I think the argument is
we'll put in a good word. Yeah.
The argument is we could keep him and stuff like that. I think it's all handshakes and deals kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool could do that. I think Rice would be brilliant for Liverpool. I think he'd be absolutely brilliant. And do you know what the best is about him? He looks like a nice guy. All the interviews you see with him, he just looks like a sound fella. And it's nice to have a load of sound lads in your team. A lad where you go, I'd love to go for a pint with him. And I think he's one of them. So I'm all in on the Rice train.
Sparky says 60 plus Ox. So basically 63. You went back to what Alan said.
He's still 60 million because Ox cost nothing. So he's still 60 million quid. Okay, have Naby Keita as well. Why not?
Poor Ox, poor bastard. I mean, he's a free agent. And you know what the bad thing is? He will end up in Crystal Palace after all this. And I'll be like, what the hell, man? We could have gotten something for him.
I've never seen a more London player in my life. Brentford, West Ham. He's going to like Crystal Palace. He's going to someone, and he like that. He's going back to London.
Yeah, probably. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So sellable assets. Since you brought that up, let me ask you this. We'll start with you, Alex. Fabinho. There's a lot of names being thrown out. It would be one guy that would bring actual money, if you think about it. But do you take that as a down year, or do you sell him? It's kind of like I'm kind of torn myself on Fabinho because here's a player on the decline. You don't know if it's a permanent decline or not. If it is a permanent decline, in 2 years, you're not getting shit. But at least you can get something for him now. And if you're bringing all these midfielders, I don't know, you're better off, I don't know. Throw all these names out there, like Ugarte, McAllister and stuff like that. I think every single one of them right now, I would start over Fabinho, especially with Trent in there a lot more. Style-wise, I feel like it suits more. Alex, do you sell Fabinho or are you keeping him?
Well, I mean, if you go and you get Rice, you're paying say you pay 60 million for him.
63.
He's gonna be your starter. So then Fabinho is at the point where he's like, well, there goes my playing time. So now you have that other issue. It's like, if you bring in somebody like a Rice, or I'm just going to throw another one out there, like a Douglas Luiz, that's probably the person that's going to be your starter in that role. We also have Basic, who seems like a brilliant player and seems to be a future player for Liverpool. You have that. So if we're bringing in young talent, I agree with you. Selling Fabinho is probably the right idea instead of letting him go for free. I don't know when his contract might be up, but selling him right now would probably be best, especially if we are looking for a replacement for him in the next couple years.
How much would Fab bring, you think, by the way? I know, by the way, I think Cozzy said making Fabinho, but I mean, I don't know who's going to retire first. Isn't Fabinho up there as well? Fabinho is 29. Going to be 24 in October. I mean, that'd be nice if we went backwards. He would be 30. Wouldn't that be a dream? But yeah, he's going to be 30 in October. So I don't know if he's the long term for anything, to be honest. And I don't know, like, especially in this system, Fabinho does not have the pace and the turning speeds to
Right.
be a center back, for example. But how much are we getting for him?
How much did we pay for him? 42, I think was the total, right?
Around there, yeah.
That was one of those that came out of nowhere too. It was just like, wait, who, when, how? Yeah. Currently, transfer market values him at 45. I don't see us getting 45 for him.
I was gonna say 30, maybe 35. I think that's probably what you're looking at, especially because teams are going to be looking at his age. They're going to be looking at his form, his injury. I feel like 30, 35 would be a fair price for him.
30, 35 sounds fair. Because here's the thing, maybe to a team that's not Premier League, Cozzy, like, you know, back to French league or something where he knows the league, or even Germany, whatever.
I've never seen a more Barcelona signing in my life.
Really? I guess I need to go for it. There's Brazilian, go with Bobby.
Busquets leaving.
Yeah.
29. They'll pay over the top. I think you get your money back or close to it. If it's a Barcelona kind of thing. Only because he'll play in that league, and by the way, and he'll look like the fucking greatest midfield in the world because it's the slowest league in the world.
Yeah,
so,
true.
PSG, yes, definitely an option, I think, as well. I think with Fabinho, it's so difficult, man, because there is that football conspiracy of every Brazilian player's finished at 30. It is like a conspiracy where if you actually look in the past, they are all finished at 30. They get to 30 and you just go, you know what, I'm fucking feet up. Do you know what I mean? And is he that? I don't know. There's only a few anomalies like a Dani Alves, but all the rest do look finished at 30. Casemiro went to United, looked unbelievable until February. Then he went, fucking hell, this is hard, isn't it?
Right. You guys run a lot.
No. He's looking at the bench going, there's no fucking Camavinga on my bench here, pal. Do you know what I mean?
I think not only that, he's like, where the fuck is Modric? I'm doing all the work now. I mean,
I get the ball. I literally picked up the ball and I'm looking around and I got fucking Anthony Elanga going one way and I'm like, I just want to give the ball to Modric and Cruz and I look special. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is that argument of course, for players looking, you know, Brazilians looking finished. I think you get 40 million. Do you keep him? Oh, I think Liverpool have got a lot of other signings I think I'd like to do first and a lot of other replacements. He's looked great in this new with Trent alongside him. He has looked better. Let's get it right. I
was going to say, not great, better, right?
Better. He's looked better with a lad to do a bit more running for him. Do Liverpool need more pressing matters first? Yes. If Liverpool get the pressing matters done early in the window, do Marcelo? Probably.
But yeah, you would almost have to have like 3-4 midfielders in the bag.
At least 3, because I'm very much on Curtis Jones is playing well, but Cechich, the most forgotten man in Liverpool right now. When we're talking about transfers, no one's even mentioned him, really. And these lads can't, you know, Elliott will be a year older. They have a decision to do on Carvalho. So Liverpool have other decisions to make. I think we need a right back, personally. I think we need 2 or 3 midfielders and a right back. I think you have to commit to Trent if he wants to be in this role. And because, the Canate situation. Canate doesn't play no more than 6 games on the bounce before he feels something. I've never seen a more Dejan Lovren player in my life. I think Dejan Lovren played 5 years for Liverpool, but never played no more than 6 games on the bounce before he got an injury, which is insane.
Yeah, like a back or a knock of some sorts, kind of a deal. This is really interesting, by the way. Like the amount of different, like there's 25, there's 20, there's like 30, 40. He's very like it's. I think it's because there's the Fabinho that we saw a lot of, and the Fabinho we saw in the middle of the season now. So that's why I think there's so many different Fabinhos. Depends on which one you're selling.
Yeah, I think it's, and again, when you look at 2020, listen, lads, clubs are paying fucking 45 million for Gylfi Sigurdsson and stuff. Let's not beat around the bush here. Like Liverpool are really great at selling football players, usually, and getting really good money for them. So I think 20 million is a bit harsh. It's a little, you know what I mean? Like, you know, look at the signings that people are paying for players, and like Spurs fucking 50 odd million for Ndombele and stuff like that. Let's just, you know, take a chill pill and let's just take a step back. Liverpool should be not selling him for any less than 40 million. He has 3 years left on his deal. I think it runs out in 2026. So Liverpool had time to go to Ugarte, for example. If you just go and learn off this lad for a year, but like we're doing with Cody Gakpo. You're learning off Bobby Firmino. He's going to go and you're already in. And there could be that argument. You're doing a year here, one more for Fabinho. Liverpool are still going to be in 4 competitions next year. whether it's the main one that we want or not, he's still going to be in 4. And I'd like to win the Europa League still. So we can probably get onto that conversation.
We're not in the Europa League. There's 78% chance we're not. So
I mean,
don't know
if we're going to be in it, listen, I'm backing my boys. I am backing my boys. But again, Liverpool are going to be in 4 comps. Let's not just fucking, because you've had a bit of a bad season, just rip everything up and sell everyone. We still need to put some perspective into it. That's all.
And here's the thing: that's where this comment that Alan was saying. What about Tyler Morton, Connor Bradley? Here's my thing with that: those guys should be there, and those guys have your numbers for like English players and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But at the same time, I do not want a summer where we're like, Tyler Morton can't play number 8 too. He plays 8 in practice. You guys should see him. Kind of bullshit. Like if they make themselves a room by either by luck, sadly, I mean, I don't know if we would ever see Besetic this year either if it wasn't for all these injuries and the midfield struggles. But either way, use the League Cup game or whatever, or maybe if you're in the Europa, you can play these guys against a team from Hungary or something like that in the first group stages, and then see what they get and get some experience out of them. Rest your guys because you're going to play Thursday for a Sunday or whatever. But I just don't want plans revolving around these names like we've done before. Like we shouldn't be like, when he freaking gets up there and sounds, what midfielder? We got 8 midfielders. I don't want him signing, like counting 4 guys in the, like, on like training room, and then 4 guys that are like 18 or under as midfielders and say, we're set over here because we kind of saw how that.
Tyler Morton, Connor Bradley, right? You'll hear all the shit in the summer. Oh, they could be fit. The first £15 million bid that comes in for either one of them, they're both out the door.
Yeah,
let's not beat around the bush here.
I mean, who have we loaned and kept? I think Elliott is the only guy, right? And we're even debating that on Monday. Does he fit this new system? But usually when we loan a guy out, they're gone. Like we're loaning him out to increase their value. It feels like I'm actually hopeful for Sepp. That kind of like gets lost in the mix, especially like you were saying in this new formation. If we're going to play 3 in the back and stuff like that, he's kind of like an ideal guy for that because he does have the pace and obviously he has the size and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, so many variables, man. And I think it's going to become like the outgoings are going to kind of rely on the incomings and vice versa. And it goes back to what you're saying, Cozzy. And this club usually takes care of business fast.
Yes.
So if we're already in the talks and once the season is over, we're going to start signing people. That's, I think, when we can sit down and have a bit more of these conversations in terms of, okay, who's going to go now? Because here's the thing. I mean, as we're like, oh, get that guy. But then somebody's going to be in that, saying, when the fuck am I going to play and going to want outs in the long run? So before we go, we'll probably preview the heck out of it with the Polish Prince on Monday. But Monday's game, Alex, let's start with you. What is basically a full week of rest, which, by the way, in the press conference, he said something like, oh, this is great. I wish we could do this all the time kind of deal. Right? Did you hear that? I was like, no, 78% chance. I'll get to that quote right there because he said something like, yeah, we all love this when we play once a week. I'm like, we don't. Like,
what a good thing.
So I'll try to find that quote over here. But Alex, what do you expect to see Monday?
I think it'll be a cagey affair at first. I think there'll be a lot of nervous air in the ground, especially where Leicester's at right now, and I hope the guys latch onto that and just make it worse. I'm seeing like a 2-0 victory on Monday. I know it's a Monday night at Leicester. That Leicester's not playing very well. The boys, I feel like they smell blood, and I feel like they go in there, get 2-0, get the job done. Look to the game. I think is the game next week, is that on Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday, I think.
Okay.
Let me ask Uncle Google.
Dust our hands off for that. After getting done with that game, just get the convincing win and then move on to the next game. I feel like that's
a Saturday game against Villa. But the
Okay.
good news is it's not an early game, so we got that going for us. Yeah, this was the quote right here. It is much more enjoyable when it is like this. That is clear. I think he means, when he has like 6-7 days between games. But then I think he caught himself, and said, "Oh, I love the rhythm though when we play 3 times a week." And I almost feel like this team, as much as we complain, it does thrive on that rhythm. But at the same time, I know everybody loves Club, but the dude sucks at rotating and giving people breaks. And that's one. I mean, when we compare managers, I think that's one thing Pep definitely has over him, because Club will ride these guys till the wheels come off, as we can see now, and will not rotate as much. And I think that's why. That's another reason I really want Champions League, because I'm afraid of what will happen Thursday to Sunday. And then I can see him on Sunday saying, bitching at Premier League, is like, this game should have been on Monday. These guys just play Thursday or something like that all season. I don't want to hear that either. But I don't think he's going to rotate as much. That kind of scares me. That's where the Bradleys and Mortons and stuff come into play. What do you expect, Cozzy?
I mean, I expect Liverpool to win the game. Probably. I don't know. It's a difficult one, this, because Leicester's probably, you're at home under the lights. If you need to get a win, it's probably then. I look at the relegation fixtures a lot, being my hatred of Everton, and
I've done the math. Yeah.
And honestly, by the way, Brighton can get to fuck. How dare you batter Liverpool all season, then you go and play Everton and lose 5-1? But anyway,
oh shit!
How dare you, Brighton? You don't deserve James Milner. You disgrace. You don't deserve such a wonderful man. But I mean, I look at the fixtures for the Leeds game. They're playing at home to Newcastle on the early kickoff. There's one thing that every single football fan in the world doesn't want, is to go away to a Sam Allardyce team at 12:30 on a Saturday morning, because I've never seen a more brutal. You wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, would you? Honestly, you just look and go, I don't want to be eating tuna pasta at 8 a.m. in the morning to go to see Sam Allardyce. Absolute scumbag a win out of me.
Did you just wake up?
No, you just woke up and you go, oh yeah, I've got to go and see Big Sam on the line, fucking drinking gravy. It's what I'm not into. But so I look at Leicester and think, Leicester, they're playing, of course, Newcastle at home. They will expect Newcastle to win. I think Leeds might get something. Everton are playing City. We all expect City to win. And then Leicester have got to look on the Monday and go, well, if those two guys lose, they might have a really big, let's get it right. This is a good squad of players. They're not playing well, but it's a good squad of players. Whether we like it or not, it's a very good. In my opinion, it might be one of the best ever squads to go down. If they do go down, but I still expect Liverpool to win the game, because that's what Liverpool do. At this stage, we are grinding. Liverpool are fantastic in May. Liverpool win most games when it comes to May, and Liverpool are grinding. So I expect Liverpool to win. I expect us to win, kind of comfortable. We might win 2-1 or 3-1, but I think we'll dominate the game.
2-1 comfortable.
But I think we'll dominate the game. I think we'll have 70% of the ball. 25 shots. You might win 2-1, and it might be a bit sketchy towards the end, but I still think Liverpool will dominate the majority of the game, at least.
Yeah, see, those games are never good for my heart over here.
That's
why this run has been, like, I've aged another 3 years and 6 wins.
I mean,
one is fucking 1 goal.
It is what it is, fella. This is what you do it for, though. This is.
I guess it's part of becoming the Liverpool fan, is suffering through these.
Yeah, Liverpool. The part of being a Liverpool fan is seeing weird shit. Like, when I look back now at this season, in January, I was going, we'll just win the Champions League. Like, it's so blasé, because that's what we just do. We'll just do something weird and finish 8th and win the Champions League and go, what were we all fucking worried about? This team's fantastic and amazing. And because we're used to seeing weird shit happen, and I expect the same. Liverpool will finish. Liverpool will be 4th on Monday.
Yeah, we were going to get into this Schmatke conversation too, but this whole the press conference and stuff definitely took the Champions League. We'll probably have a chat of that. But hopefully, we'll come up to more news. I don't know, like the sporting director thing is, do you want something that was like another topic that we can probably discuss? Like, do you want somebody who's going to go along with Klopp? Do you want someone who's going to be the other contrary voice in the room, is going to be like, well, that's fucking stupid, or like, no, we got to sell this guy, let him go? He's like, no, Ox Moss goes to Crystal Palace. That's the kind of guy I want to hire. That's what we should ask him. Like, what would you put Ox? And if you use the correct answer, then you're like, you're hired. Just like, come in here. Okay, so you're going with 2-0, Alex. 2-1. Did you go with Cozzy?
Yeah, but we'll dominate the game. It'll be a dominating.
I go with like a 4-2 win. I don't see a clean sheet against them. And then honestly, having seen Fulham counter on Leicester, I almost feel like, we will have a lot of success as well. If we get the first goal, I think we'll get a bunch of goals. I can see like a 4-2 wild game over there. Sparky's happy. He says Everton are safe, just to rub it into you, Cozzy. But nobody's safe in this league. But yeah, I think that was just a huge 3 points that I did not see coming at all. Ryan is going with 3-1. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun game to watch, I think, because it'll be very open. And this is really Leicester's probably last hurrah, right? In terms of being able to, especially like looking at the scores before them, they got to get something out of this game, even if it's 8 points. But I feel like they're going to go to the game thinking, kind of like what you're saying, they're home. And look at their schedule real quick here. Who else are they playing?
They've got a tough run. They have a tough run.
Yeah, they play afterwards. They're going to Newcastle.
Yeah,
so you would think they would not count that as points. Then they play at home to West Ham and the $63 million man Declan Rice. So I don't know if they can see that as another game where they can get points, but I feel like they're gonna go out to get 3, knowing one at home in a game like this is probably not enough. The only safe thing for sure, he says, is Alex will grow that beard again.
I mean,
is your brother coming back, or
you need about 2 years to grow it? That's the issue.
Yeah, how long does it take an Alex to grow a beard, by the way?
Maybe.
But this is probably like 3 days if I should. It's the Mediterranean way. It just comes out.
Beard where it was at probably a month.
A month?
Yeah.
In a month, you won't see my freaking mouth on the camera, dude. It will be.
I know.
But I'm telling you right now, everyone, Liverpool will be 4th on Monday. I'm so certain that Wolves get something against United. I know, but I told you about Jaws, didn't I? As soon as the big fucking red shark's behind you, fella, you know what I mean? You start looking.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening more than anything else. I mean, they were already gonna be in a slump, but they're trying to go forward as they look back at the same time. So they're stumbling across even more, I think. So let's hope so. I mean, nothing would make the season palatable apart from taking the 4th spot from United, especially if it's on goal difference or something like that.
Oh my God, it'll mean more to me than winning any trophy. If you take 4th off them because you beat them 7-0, and that was a 14-goal difference swing, it's the greatest season of all time.
Yeah, I think, like I say, it would make the season, at the end of the season, at least you can have like a smirk on your face. Maybe not a full smile or a laugh. You'll definitely laugh. But at least overall, if you had to pick an emoji for the season, we should do that. Pick an emoji for the season. It would be a smirk emoji if we end up doing that and getting the 4th. I don't think you're putting in a full laugh. Initial laugh, but overall a smirk.
I don't know. It will be
if Everton goes down
at the same
time, that's the laughing emoji.
I've already planned it. It's Memorial Day weekend, the last day of the season. If Everton go down and Liverpool sneak 4th on goal difference, you might never see me again. That could be it for me.
That'll be the wildest Memorial Day party of all time.
Oh, I swear to God, I'll be remembering everyone who played for Liverpool on Memorial Day weekend. It'd be wonderful.
Well, the good news is, I mean, we get to hopefully see Wolves score tomorrow, and then the boys don't play till Monday, so at least you'll have a stressless weekend to enjoy some freebie soccer, hopefully root for Wolves. I mean, I don't know if you're going to need to even root for City on that one, but you never know. I thought Brighton would roll over them too, so we'll see. Either way, have an awesome weekend, everybody. We'll see you guys bright and early Monday morning with the Polish Prince. Take care.